Shalom and good evening to you. I really, there's a lot of weight lifted off because I really don't care how this video turns out. I mean, I care, but it's not on me. Hello, this episode of the philipfiles is about um, striving versus working hard. And yeah, striving versus working hard. My friend John Strong and I have had this discussion over the years, um, and and it suddenly hit me tonight. We've been talking about over the years the balance between working hard, and as a Type A personality, I'm very much into getting stuff done. Okay, I enjoy working. I enjoy accomplishing things. I'm one of those people that will make a checklist and then write on it some things I've already done that day so I can cross them off. I mean, but I like getting stuff done, and not just anything, but I want my life to matter. Okay? What the problem is, this gets into I can be kind of a brute. I mean, I can, because I'm the tasks become sometimes more important than the people that I'm working with. When this has happened in life, and it doesn't happen all the time, but it's occasionally it'll happen. At school, when I'm trying to get something done, I get under pressure. I'll get kind of snappy at the students, or when I've done videos or films, and it's been a while since I've done those, but I can get a little, gotta get this done, get under pressure. With my kids especially, that there's a deadline, we gotta get somewhere, and kind of get, frustrated and impatient is a nice way of saying that. Okay, so I was thinking about the striving versus working hard, and it hit me tonight. Maybe John told me this years ago, but it just finally hit me. So, John, if you've been saying this, it's probably something he said but it hit me tonight. The difference between striving and working hard is the results. When we strive, the results are up to us. We have to make it happen. Working hard, God has created us to work hard. Okay, there's so much in the Bible about working hard, and we are made to work. We're made to, there's a balance. Okay, that's why the Sabbath was instituted. One of the reasons was to keep a balance, because otherwise people would work so hard and they would strive and they'd kill themselves. So God says, hey, you gotta balance this. Yeah, there's a balance here. But when it's working hard, and especially in obedience to the call God has on one's life, for me, the call God has on my life and what I feel like He's called me to do, when I'm working hard on that, the pressure's not on me. It's not up to me, the results. Now, I care about the results, kind of like this video. I want this video to turn out well, and I will do my best. I even have a script. You can't see it, but it's right there. I have a script. See, honest, I do. Okay, well, an outline, but I do. I care. I mean, it's not like I'm just winging it like I normally do. But so the results, when it's working hard, the results are up to God. When it's striving, the results are on us. And I just noticed my printer just went out. If I were all AR, I would be like, ooh, that sound, that audio. Who cares? I mean, so striving versus working hard. Now, where this comes into effect with this video and this YouTube channel that I've started, this is hard for me. It's not hard making the video. I don't mind talking. That's not the problem. I have lots of things to say. Some of them are actually worthwhile. I can edit a video, or when I bother to. So that's not the problem. But it's hard because this is humbling. I mean, I have 200 kids come through my class a day, and over the course of a year, 600, and taught probably 10,000 students have come into my class. And so I'm doing these YouTubes, and over the last 20 videos I've made, I've gotten 200, 300 hits, most of them probably me watching my own video. And that's humbling, actually the only 2 videos I got a lot of hits had nothing to do with philipfiles. They were other things. And my children did well in their video, and I made another about a trip I took. Um, so of all these Philip files, maybe 100, probably not even that many. The last two, and I haven't really advertised them. That's the thing. I've kind of been like doing it because I feel like God's told me to do it. Um, and I don't know. It's weird. Where's this balance? Where's the balance between striving and of course if the results are up to us, then we really pay attention to details and we really work hard. And if it's working hard, I don't know. Even as I say this, I'm rethinking my hypothesis or my thought here. I mean, there's something nice about striving. I don't know, maybe pride. Okay, yeah, definitely pride. Which I guess is a bad thing. But anyway, so striving versus working hard. I don't know. There's at the same time, God has called us to obey. One of my favorite songs and quotes from the Bible is, "To obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams." Yeah, to obey, and when we obey, the result is not up to us; it's up to God. Now, God, I was reading another book this past weekend. It was interesting. A friend of mine told me this book was a heretical book, so I hadn't read it in like a year. So as soon as my friend told me that, I was like, oh, I picked it up and started reading it. Yeah, that's the place I'm in right now. But anyway, so I was reading this book. It was called Chasing Daylight, and it's actually really good. And I'd read it, part of it, about 2 years ago, and I picked it up, and it was about God and uncertainty. And it was actually talking about Gideon, how God calls Gideon, confirms his call on Gideon, proclaims to Gideon that he's a mighty warrior, instructs Gideon how to cull his army down from 32,000 to 10,000 to 300. And then God just like lets Gideon figure it out. I mean, God didn't tell Gideon to do the lights and the clay and the. Now his life was on the line, I guess. So and he trusted God, but at the same time, if my life was on the line, I would trust God and do my very best. So anyway, now there's another quote I love, and I've used this in my class a few times. I don't think the kids get it, but maybe some of them do. I'm sure some of them do. But it's, "The mundane is the training ground for the heroic." And this kind of tags along with that one you probably heard, your character is defined by what you do when no one is looking. So like this YouTube is defining my character because no one's watching. And that's okay. Yeah, I say with an ache in my heart. No, it's okay. Because it's okay. I kind of know what God's doing. Is I'm being trained, kind of getting back into the flow of things with video editing. It's been a while. Kind of got rusty. Kind of seeing all my mistakes. And hey, I'd rather see my mistake on a video that 10 people watch than later on. So there's that. But there's also kind of learning how YouTube works and preaching to my best student. Of course, I say my best student, but if I was such a good student, I would probably figure it out quicker than I do. But it's interesting. Things I've taught over the years. Like I said, I've had a lot of students, a lot of great students. But I think my best student is probably me. Or at least the student that is there for every lesson. And has to do a lot of the work. And I repeat for the student a lot. But eventually the student catches on sometimes. So maybe doing these videos is a way to practice. I thank God there's something that God is at work, and I think I can see a little bit of the wisdom, or at least I'm projecting this wisdom onto this task, or not task, but this kind of instructions for this year. But at the same time, it would be nice to have some views. I mean, it would be nice for people to email, "Oh, I saw you." But ultimately, yeah, it would be nice. But once we get past the striving and we work as unto the Lord, and I did a blog a couple months ago about, why did I ride, or, the man from the snowy river, that's not why I rode. And motivation, what motivates us. And anyway, I'm not going to go back into that, but I'm starting to get through this valley. I'm starting to really get to the point where I'm like, yeah, it's for God, and how He uses it is up to Him. And I'll end on this thought. Some of the godliest people I've known personally are unknown. I'm thinking of two missionaries that I knew in church, and they were missionaries in Vietnam, Southeast Asia. They've been there many years, and even in their 70s, they would go back for a couple months every year. And nobody knows who they are. There's not going to be a movie made about them. But John and Betty were two of the godliest people I've known. And John passed away about 3 years ago, this coming summer, I think it was. Or maybe 2 years ago. But we're always so concerned about results. God isn't. He already knows the result. And He's in charge of that. I think there's something more going on. I hope there's something more going on. God's much more concerned about what's going on here. And when you're around humble people like that, you're around the meek and the strong. These people in heaven, I don't know if I've said this elsewhere. I know I've shared this with people. But in heaven, and I think my wife had a dream about this, actually. I think my wife had a dream that she shared with John and Betty 6 years ago. That she had a dream that they saw John and Betty's house. And it was a small little house. And having all these other mansions, and they go into this small, very unassuming house. And she went in, and on the inside, it was this huge mansion, bigger than all the other ones. And, I think that how the world sees people and how God sees people, well, I don't think I know. They're very different. And so if I'm obedient, and my greatest student watches this, and finally gets it through his skull, then that's worth it. And actually, it's worth it even if he doesn't. It's worth it because of obedience to God. So, and there's a learning process to this. There is, I can see some wisdom, and I'm always trying to remind myself the wisdom, but I think ultimately it's about obedience. It's about working hard, doing our best, but being motivated by Him and not by the results, and letting God worry about that. I would say I have a theory about that, because that's supposed to be my new ending, but I really don't have an ending to this one. So I just I hope maybe the three of you will just learn how to work hard for God, and for using the call He has on your life, and let the results fall where they may. That's not how that goes. The cards fall where they may. That's not how that is. But anyway, hope you have a good day. Cheerio. Have a great day. Shalom.